So good evening and welcome everyone to our Remaining Data event. My name is Vicky and I would like to thank all of you who decided to spend this evening with us. And I can say that I already seen all the slides, so I can promise you that it's worth it. But first, I would like to take a quick moment to introduce our company. We are a data company based in Krakow and Tenerife. We supply our clients with talent, products, and services from data engineering and data analytics domains to help our clients make the most of their data. And because we want to build a strong data community, we use meetup groups to organize regular events around all the data-related topics. And our data head Tenerife group was launched not so long ago, so this is the first event we are hosting under this name. So once again, welcome everyone who joined us for the first time. And yeah, I guess we can move on to today's topic. So we have an exciting lineup of speakers who will be sharing their knowledge and experiences. We will start with a quick history lesson with Angel and Angelica. Then we will move to Valeria and Isa, who will share their career journeys. And on top of that, Janella and Barbara will provide valuable tips on starting and navigating a career in data. And we have also allotted some time for Q&A at the end of the session, so please feel free to ask any questions you may have. So once again, thank you for joining us today, and let's get started.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Angel, and I work as a data analyst in dyvenia. And so today what I'm going to share with you is about the women who first entered the field of data. Yeah. So I have a question from all of you, and that is, when do you think did women enter the field of data? You can just switch on your microphone and maybe answer. When do you think it happened?
Hey, my name is
Hey.
Ira. I think that just happened something simultaneously when one was developed first computers and programming languages. Since, as far as I know, women were also doing a big part of that. So I will go with the end of 19th century, beginning of 20th, if we are talking about like digitalized data.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, so let me continue. Actually, we have had women in data since time immemorial, since forever. And that is simply because we have data everywhere around us. Wherever you see, be it hospitals, you have data there of the sick people or the number of births, deaths. In finances, like if you're running a household, you need to plan your expenses. That's data. How much time you need to put a pancake for on the fry pan? You don't want to eat a burnt pancake, right? Or if you're very picky about the type of eggs, time is important, and it all accounts for data. And even gardening, how much manure to put, any game like chess, or of course in our offices where we deal with data everywhere. So data has been there all around us and forever. But today, me and my colleague Angelica, we will be sharing about few of the women who changed the field of technology. And first, that might surprise you, is Florence Nightingale. We know her. Victoria, can we have the next slide, please? Yes. So Florence Nightingale might really surprise you because we all know her as a very famous nurse who changed the field of medicine. But how did she change it actually? She was posted in the Crimean War and in Turkey in 1856, and there she saw a huge number of deaths of soldiers. And because the number of deaths were just so large that nobody was keeping any data, no inventory of it. So she started recording it, and then she found like some similarities between the poor sanitary conditions and a correlation between poor sanitary conditions and the number of like crowded areas and also like low nutrition value with the high mortality rate. So what she did, she gathered statisticians and some medical people from the medical field itself and started creating these kind of graphs that you see, and even many more, just to prove to the authorities that these sanitary conditions are the result of such high mortality rates. And she is somebody who came up with the idea of data visualization or created data visualization even before this field existed. So she revolutionized medicine in a big way. Now, I have a second question from all of you. Can you name the first person to land on moon? I think that's pretty simple. 1969. Come on,
I thought it was
guys.
You
Armstrong.
know,
Yes.
Angel, it's not clear if it happens. Yeah.
Um, Stuart,
It's,
let's keep the conspiracies aside, right?
yeah.
That's for some other day, maybe. Yeah, so who was the first person to land on moon? Neil Armstrong, right? Chanela said. But the person who was responsible for taking man to moon, that is the person who created the algorithm of the software that was there on board Apollo mission. And that is, next slide please, Margaret Hamilton. So she joined NASA in 1960s when they first came out with a position to create a software for to be put on board the Apollo mission, actually, because it was like it's a long range of mission where they wanted to take man on moon. Now in so she pro- mm, there was back then there was an issue with the software that was on board. The software was synchronous, that is, all the tasks had to be performed in a proper order, like in the order they were assigned. And the size of the computer on board was 1 square feet. So it was hard to fit in this whole algorithm in the small uh, size of a computer. But she was the one who created the algorithm, and she was the first one to create the algorithm in a way that it was asynchronous. That is, it gave prompts to the astronauts that, hey, buddy, this is going wrong. Do you want to do it this way? And this is exactly what happened when uh, Apollo 11 mission was just landing on the moon. Buzz Aldrin did something, and he got this prompt, he got in the sense of right, and he switched on the rendezvous radar switch, which was supposed to be used when they were supposed to come back to the Earth, not while landing on moon. And then it started giving this prompt, go or no. But he believed in her algorithm, and he clicked go. And that's how they landed safely on the moon, and then they could come back. So as we all know, like any big technology is incomplete without hardware and also without software. Like both play an equal role in it, and so does her algorithm. And US ex-President Obama, he did say that our astronauts did not have much time, but thankfully they had Margaret Hamilton. And with this, I would like to uh, ask Angelica to go forward with her presentation.
So thank you, Angel. I want to show you like three women and go a little bit in past. The first girl I want to present to you is Ada Lovelace. Vicky, can we switch a slide? Uh, I think she flows. So going further, I will talk about Ada Lovelace. She is known as the first computer programmer. When she was alive, there was nothing similar to the computer, but her friend, Charles Babbage, created a project of thing called analytical engine that today we can call a computer. What Ada was translating those documents about this machine, and she felt so inspired by this that she decided to create algorithm that was supposed to run on this machine and calculate Bernoulli numbers. It is considered to be the first algorithm that was supposed to run on any kind of the computer. So that's why Ada Lovelace is often cited as a first computer programmer. She also developed a vision of capability of the computers to go beyond the mere of calculating the numbers, while others, including Babbage himself, focused only on this thing. And the second girl that I would like to show you is Grace Hopper. She is known as the Queen of Code, and same as Ada, she was a mathematician, and she was also a teacher. But then the Second World War came, and she divorced her husband and joined the USA Navy. And then she became a computer scientist. As she recalls, back then she didn't know much about computers, and she learned a lot when she got this job. Once she was given a task to write a manual for one of the Navy's computers, and it was an order from an officer that didn't like the idea that girl is in her team. So it was supposed to be a punishment for her for just being a girl, but she took her task seriously and wrote over 500 pages manual, uh, and it can be known as a first ever programming manual. After some time, she became a primary programmer, and she quickly started inventing her own stuff. For example, she believed that programming language should be as similar to English language as it can be, because back then, computer code was written in binary language, like zeros and ones. So having her thoughts about it, she created a high-level compiler and participated in creating a COBOL programming language that is used till today. And also there is one interesting story with her, that she's a reason why we call computer errors bugs. Because once she was working with her colleagues, they were writing some code, and that stopped working. So she decided to check all the insides of the computer, and then she found a live bug then. So they started calling it bug, they popularized it. And it happens that we still use this word in this context today. And the last one that I want to show you is Heidi Lamar. We can go to the next slide. She was an actress and was born in 1914. When she was a teenager, she quit school to work as an actress, but now she's compared to be Angelina Jolie of her times. She was really beautiful, as you can see on this photo. But she believed that the most important thing about her and about other people was her mind. She didn't show it to the public, but in her private time, she loved being an inventor, an engineer. For example, she had an idea about creating a tablet that will dissolve in the water and make this drink taste like cola. But today we want to talk about her technical inventions. And the one the biggest one, at least for me, is that she wanted to make remote communication safer, to send the data during the war. And she decided to use frequency hopping instead of fixed frequency to send signals. This technology is making signal hop from frequency to frequency every short random period of time. The signal could be only decoded by someone who knew exact intervals and sequence of frequencies. And today we use this technology in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But what is that for her? Being scientist and engineer was really hard because people couldn't believe that such pretty and young girl can be smart. Some of them even thought she was a spy and she has stolen those ideas from opponent's army. And with this, we are ending the part of history and we are going to second part of our webinar. And Valeria, it's your turn.
Thank you very much, Angelica. So now that we learned a little bit about stories from the past, we can talk a bit about how you can get empowered and looking around. And let me come here, listening to some success stories, and we would like to share our personal stories with you as data practitioners. And we haven't always been data practitioners, so here's a little bit about how we found data, or how I like to call it, how data found me. So I began my career as a student of mechanical engineering. I had a vision that I want to work at a manufacturing company, ideally even at a factory, and creating products. This was my idea for quite a while, since high school. And as time passed, as a student, most of us have experienced that we also need to do some work, and we also like volunteering. And from those internships and volunteering, I learned that my motivation was not so much products and factories. I learned that I had other things that motivate me more or made me feel empowered. So when you look at those experiences together, what made me feel most empowered was be given opportunities to learn from others, to teach others, and especially working as a team. And also, whenever a problem appeared, I felt empowered if I was able to use technical skills to solve this problem. So once I started noticing that what was motivating me, I thought maybe 18-year-old me doesn't know everything. And I think this probably applies to most of us. There were other career paths to explore apart from that one that you think about when you're 16, 17, or 18, and you're supposed to choose a career for life. So I said, let's be open to opportunities. And one opportunity that popped up for me was to work at a finance and accounting outsourcing team. So what does that have to do with mechanical engineering? At that moment, this was a job to basically get some experience. And what we were doing in this team, we were working with customer database management. We billed customers, but we also allocated payments. There was a lot of numbers. There was a lot of data generated every single day. And the more I worked at those manual processes, I became almost obsessed with process drilling, and I volunteered for every idea about how to improve the processes. I saw a lot of opportunities for improvement. And all of those opportunities also gave me the chance to learn about the bigger picture. So it's not just billing, or it's not just accounting. There is a whole ecosystem happening, how the data is getting generated. And even though some of the knowledge I knew from school was helping me, most of what I was learning was coming from experience and was coming from my team, as you can see them on the picture. And I had a very smart colleague who taught me everything she knew about data, making informed decisions with data. So I needed to prioritize customers. How do you do that? You use their data to find out what to do next, where to use your time. And she always said, find the source of the data, go straight to the source of the data. I still tell this to myself almost every day. And the impressive thing about that is that she had a PhD in psychology. She did not have a STEM background, science, but she did not have a mathematical background, yet she thought in a data-oriented way. So thanks to this learning from her, I went from my day-to-day meant talking to clients on the phone, entering data, scanning emails. I managed to become part of an automation team. So I was asked to look for potential on potential for continuous improvements. And instead of working directly with customers, I worked with 100 or more than 100 people team, trying to find out what kind of work they were doing that could be done directly in the data. So even though I wasn't using any rocket science, just utilizing sources like VBA, simple SQL was already changing the way I saw data. So if I can give you some of my realizations from the first 3-4 years of my career, is that it is that time when you are barely starting where the risk is the lowest for you to try as many things as you can. So try things out. Don't be afraid to do something that is not exactly in your job description, and find who are the smart people around you and let them inspire you. Ask them to take you out of your comfort zone, and at the same time to ask them to teach you or to inspire you. You can also offer to help other teams and other people. They will never forget that you were the one helping them, and they will also teach you in exchange. So for me, shadowing, that was an area of my life where I was shadowing. I was sitting next to people and asking them, can you show me how you allocate a payment? Can you show me how you make an analysis of a customer history? And I still use that knowledge today. So apart from learning about numbers, learning about how data gets generated in SAP or whatever I was learning on the day-to-day, another big impulse for my career was that I learned that making friends and networking makes a huge impact in your life. We'll see how that happened to me. But also that make sure that they know what you're good at, that they can count on you. And yes, so offer your help to them. Localize the data. When you see a problem, it's always a good idea to wonder, what data are we talking about? Because data is everywhere. So dig for the data and you will probably find the solutions. And the last one is to also remember self-recognition. So we always say that we crave recognition from others, and it is great to get little trophies and to get put in slides as, you know, you are a star of something. But self-recognition is what really keeps you and what gets you out of bed in the morning. So why am I mentioning making friends? So everybody thinks having friends is important. Yes, but your friends are going to think about you the next time an opportunity comes up, and they are going to remember that you are capable and that you are dependable, that they can count on you. They will want to work with you once again. So that's what happened to me. One of my colleagues who had moved on to a different place, she recommended me and thought, it looks like Valeria could be a data analyst. So I could go from being an accountant to being a data analyst. This was something that she envisioned for me. And I would have never applied by myself to this role. I would have never seen this job position or vision myself as a data analyst. I didn't I didn't imagine this. And so what can you say? What happened next? I had all of the knowledge. I applied. Immediately they hired me and lived happily ever after. Well, of course not. That's not how the story goes. I barely knew half of the words that were in the job description. A lot of what was expected of the applicants was something I had never done. So I needed to believe in myself and believe in my capabilities and my possibility to learn. I did some crash courses to understand what this job would entail and just took a leap of faith. And the rest is history. So the realizations to take with you is that you should make sure to believe in yourself and do not expect that jumping careers, you can only do it when you have all of the knowledge. You can do it when you have support and when you believe in yourself. Let's say that you already managed to jump your careers and that you are now in the field of data. So how can you grow and learn within that career? The first 2 years were quite tough, and I guess that for many of the people that I know have done this in the past, you know that it's difficult to change careers. There is a lot of self-doubt, struggling with technology that you are not familiar with, and even sometimes imposter syndrome. So here are some of the tips that I learned the hard way by also doubting myself, but thanks to the people around me, I was able to learn that in order to stay motivated and to keep believing in yourself, it's good to track your milestones. When you do something for the first time, it's a first, but it's a big milestone. So track it. Remember, this is the first time I have delivered a whole product by myself, or I have taken over this from somebody else who is much more experienced than me. So I've taken a step up, and or now I know how to do complex queries. In the past, I would have never thought about being able to do such a thing. So remember about tracking yourself and using your colleagues and your mentor to discuss your growth. When I say discuss your growth, it doesn't mean let's constantly talk about promotions. I mean, talk about your growth. Where are you doing things right? And where do you still have knowledge gaps? When you switch careers, you will have knowledge gaps. Let's be realistic. You are not going to switch careers with all of the boxes ticked up. So talk about that, ask for feedback, and be ready to take it. Okay, and last of all, so let's say you switch your career, you're becoming more competent, and now you're starting to be a leader for your colleagues. So the next step is not to say, okay, let's get somebody, let's say under me, I want to be a people manager. You can be a leader way before that. So my next step was to understand that leadership demands much more than doing one-to-ones with somebody who is reporting to you. Help others, motivate them, and get them on board with your ideas. If you have ideas and you get people on board, you are already a leader. And if there is a team that lacks a leader, but there are people who are in this team already acting as a leader, formalizing that as a role, let's say, for example, in my case, head of analytics, becomes an obvious decision because you are already a leader for other people in your team. So that was the journey for me. As I said, there are some realizations that I wanted to share, and I hope that they will come in handy for you. If you ever switch your career and then you go into the point of becoming a leader, make sure to make it easy on yourself. So, for example, delegating on others is a first step so that you are able to take more responsibility. and make sure that you mentor them so that they can take over responsibilities from you. The power of coaching, you will listen a little bit to Barbara a bit later. Don't underestimate it. It is not just conversation. It really helps you to bring yourself up to the next level. And I also put there a picture of myself with my mentor. So when you find someone who is your mentor, stay close to them, recognize them, and let them know how much you value them. And if they have an idea, the same as they have supported you, follow them with that idea wherever they go. So that worked out for me. And if you do find a mentor, keep them close to you. And use that learning also to mentor others. So that helps me to introduce you to Isa. So Isa is one of the data analysts in the dyvenia team. She was actually the first data analyst that I onboarded into my team. And lots of love for you. And I want to stress out how important it was for me to, as I became a leader, also be able to apply it and mentor someone. So Isa, off to you.
Thank you so much, Valeria. I'm losing my voice in the first minute of speaking, so it's very promising, but similarly to what Valeria said about her story, my journey wasn't that straightforward as well, and it's actually started in a different field. To be very honest, I would never really picture myself working with data or anything IT related. I never really liked math. And I actually started in translations, in linguistics. My background is in German studies. And as far as I was not that interested in learning other languages, I was always very much interested about what is happening in the back end. To use IT terminology, meaning I was always interested in how languages are interacting with one another. And that also was the starting point for me to gain experience in translation industry. I was responsible for coordinating the whole life cycle of localization projects, and that includes quality control and finance management. So, and those are the skills that helped me later in the data world, and I was really taking advantage of those skills. And I am taking advantage of those skills in dyvenia while working with product management. But then I made my way towards investment industry, and don't really ask me, please, how it happened. That was kind of random that I landed in an investment company with a strong focus on startups. I was supporting business development of an investment company based in Vienna. I spent there a while, and I was designing and implementing processes for developing companies' international network and driving business growth in the key markets. And that was actually the starting point when I started exploring different opportunities within data. I was not working with data to the extent I am working right now, but my role was to high extent about manipulating the data. Just referring to what we talked about before, that data is everywhere. Data was also part of my position back then. But it was also a very international environment, and I had this chance to work in a very dynamic team, which is also happening right now in dyvenia, where I'm working with people from all around the world. And that is something that I try and find truly inspiring. And then when I started exploring those different opportunities within data, I realized how much IT has to offer when it comes to data. And I started exploring different ways of different positions that I could undertake within data world. And I started leveling up my technical skills and focused on gaining those technical foundations. And the result is my degree in applied computer science. You cannot really see my eyes over there because I was learning for this dissertation for the whole night. So I don't really have a nice flattering picture of me from the dissertation. And I was in a kind of a COVID setup back then. But then getting a degree was one thing, but that was only the starting point to sharpen my skills, my technical skills. And then I did start in dyvenia as a junior data analyst, as Valeria already mentioned, and that was the time when I could level up my both technical and soft skills. I was not only working on technical development, but also I was supporting our clients, and I was bridging between technical development and business side. And then I never really thought about becoming a leader, but I was naturally seeking for different opportunities within the company and taking the initiative wherever I could and wherever I would find it. I was lucky because I had people around me who would support me and mentor me a lot, which helped me make this progress happen. And then I think naturally became a leader. It started as a relationship, building this trust around people and engaging people, bringing them to one room. That is when I became a leader, before having people reporting to me. And then the rest you kind of know. And the last but not least is walking the talk. So now something that I'm focused the most is being authentic as a leader, or trying to build this trust with people around me, and not only speaking about values, but also sticking to that and making my actions stick to that. If we can have a next slide. Thank you. We talked a little bit, Valeria talked a little bit about making this transition, and this is not always an easy way and tends to be pretty bumpy. Takes some risk with that, and definitely some strength. But there are a few things or a few lessons learned that I gained along the way, and those are the things I wish I knew before changing the career, or I wish I listened to people when they were sharing with me when I was changing the career. But first is the trust on skills. And I know that changing the career, making this transition to the different field, usually means that that our current experience not necessarily hit the spot. But still, I'm a strong believer that this previous experience matter, and it's use this knowledge that you have from different fields to reflect on problems and come with solutions from different angles. That is really your opportunity to bring new perspectives to the table and new ideas on how we can meet the expectations and what kind of solutions we can provide. So it's a little bit of out of the box experience when you can bring to the table something that other people's maybe would never come up with. Then try the unknown. Opportunities tend to be messy. It's usually not that they are coming your way and you know, oh, this is a great opportunity. Usually they tend to be pretty messy, and you need to find the essence within those opportunities and identify them. Even if you don't really feel like you're 100% ready for what life serves to you, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a tip. Most likely you will never feel 100% ready. At least I never had 100% ready. From one side, it's the trust that you have from others, but from the other is calculating the risk. And it's not about taking every single opportunity and taking every single risk. It's really about calculating that. And if you feel like after this calculation that the impact does not overwhelm you, then you just use it. Just use this chance to build your confidence. I know that there are a lot of people who are trying to make their way towards data, and they are gaining those technical skills, but they never really come to the point when they are actively applying for the positions. Try to apply as soon as you can, and use also that as your learning experience. And last but not least, I think it's also about having some fun along the way. I know that the transition is a stressful process, and we have different kinds of motivations, but Also, over the course of striving for this career change, do not forget to also have some joy out of it. And it's not always going to be the bed of roses, but also find opportunities to have some fun and work on the projects that are bringing and giving you some fun. And that will really help you unlock your potential and bring this motivation to the next level. And now when I'm also involved in the leadership path and I'm following that path, I was also shaping my development. And my development is absolutely not finished. This is a continuous process, and hopefully it's gonna last the whole life. But there are a few things that I'm currently working on as a leader, and I think those are the things that you can work on, even if you are not planning leadership career. And as Valeria mentioned before, it's to a very high extent about showing up, giving inputs, and engaging in different initiatives. But I think that what is also important is to start the learning process from within. Start with understanding and recognizing your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Understand your strengths, understand your weaknesses, and work on them. This is this self-awareness that is very, very important, and it really helps you make more informed decisions and understand what kind of biases are making you make that decision or another, and also what kind of impact those have on other people. Then one of the first pieces of advice that I received when I became a leader was to create a list of values that are the most important for me. And I did it, and I think that was one of the best pieces of advice I've ever received. And it's important to build or create some ethical standards and forms that are important to you. And then whenever you are in doubt, when there is a high pressure situation, those can really support you and be this point of reference for decision making. And in the situations which are highly stressful, like this one for me, also remember about self-regulation, managing your own emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. As a leader, you're usually gonna be put on the spotlight, and it will be expected from you as well to manage your emotions and thoughts. So try, in that kind of situations, try to be consistent with your values, goals, and responsibilities. And having this list of values that are most relevant for you will help you a lot. And last but not least, having that self-awareness, having that good understanding about yourself really supports open communication with the team. Don't be afraid of sharing your experience, even if it's not experience you are super proud of. It's a treasure to be vulnerable, and it's a treasure to share challenges, because those are the challenges. Your past challenges might be the challenges that your team is facing or people around you are facing, and these will support them and be the exact thing they need. Remember to remain open to feedback, no matter at what level you are or and what kind of positions you're undertaking. Remember to be open to feedback and listen to input from others, because their perspective might bring something to the table. And now when me and Valeria, we shared our experiences and we introduced our path towards data, I think it's time to look ahead and pick some tips and tricks from Janella, who will help us and introduce how to navigate our career in data.
Thank you, Isa. Hello, everybody. My name is Janella. I have been in the company since we were 12, and I'm very proud to say that now we are 61, and we are still growing. Very happy to say that my small contribution is to look for jewels, and I have been here happily doing it with some help. I want to talk a little bit into parts of what we are doing before and after we get the job as women. So it's mostly kind of empowering. Beginning your job search, the first step, self-esteem and confidence. The first step toward career success is being in the right frame of mind. You must believe it in order to achieve it. Since the power of positive thinking can propel your career forward in any direction you dream of, you must begin your journey by promising to be optimistic and believing in your own ability to reach beyond your current situation. Close your eyes and picture the next step. Whether you define success as an entry-level professional in new field or the first female CEO of your corporation, it won't happen until you imagine it. Think of the most successful people you have ever heard of. From local business owners to corporate executives, more than likely, they spend years dreaming and plotting and planting the right seeds to make their ideas a reality. So start dreaming about your own professional destination. What does success mean to you? What do you want to do? And where do you want to be? This is something that you need to ask yourself and get the answers. Write down at least 5 career goals, along with objectives that describe the attitudes and attributes you value. No, it is not going to make your work any easier or solve the challenges any faster, but starting out in the right frame of mind with a daily reminder of the attitude and values that matter most is a key to short and long-term success. Then we could think about create your digital identity. Maybe you think that this is not that important, but digital dirt is the information about you, your hobbies, your photos, your rants and raves. That is available on the internet through personal websites, profiles on popular social networking sites, and comments on blogs. What you may not realize is that employers are reading what is out there, and in many cases, it can derail your job prospects even before you're called for an interview. Do you maintain a good online reputation by avoiding controversial or offensive content? You think about it. It is very easy to think about it. Is your LinkedIn profile up to date? This is the social network you have to work in. This is the one you have to construct. Good. Going to positive energy and self-promotion. Most of us let reality squash our career dreams before they have even had a chance to develop. Instead of listing all the reasons why you can't do something, list all the reasons why you can and should. Go for it. Research the company. It is very important for us as recruiters to see that people is involving in what we are doing, people who knows what we do. Sometimes our change of career can happen within the same company. The new career we want may be closer than we think. It is worth it to familiarize ourselves with the organizational chart in our company, and also the mentors, leaders who may be able to give us some tips on how they found their path. Connect with them in person or online to grow your network. And finally, things to do before you create a resume. Actively marketing yourself to hiring managers and the people who influence them. Start by doing an honest assessment of your efforts to determine if you are doing everything you possibly can to secure an offer by looking in the right places, be memorable, and always prepare for interviews. With this, I think you could have a little bit of the knowledge that you could have and prepare yourself for before you have the offer. And then if Michelle, if you could just please get, that's it. Thank you. When you get the job, advice and tips. Don't accept the first offer you get. Negotiate your pay package. It's very often that we do that. We are so in need to have the offer and get this dream job that we just go and accept whatever we receive. Some women are afraid to negotiate pay, and many more simply don't think to ask for more. You can help ward off the anxiety of negotiating pay by arming yourself with information. Research the current market value for the job you want. Third-party compensation information will give you a good indication of a job's value. Use this information as a baseline. Then assess your skills versus the requirements to determine your value in the job. Very few professional level jobs are compensated via salary alone. So think in terms of a total compensation package. If you can't get the salary you want, ask for a signing bonus, more vacation, or some other work benefits. Many women are surprised at how easy is it to get more by simply asking. You won't lose the offer just because you ask for more. Be fair on that and get whatever you think is fair for you. Second, use your voice. Don't expect your work to speak for itself. Most women are uncomfortable promoting themselves. You may think, if I just do a good job, someone will notice and they will materialize. Unfortunately, it seldom happens that way. If you're not getting acknowledged and you don't ask for the things you want, recognize that you may have lost your most important career asset, your voice. You are hired for a job because of your skills and talents. Don't let these get underestimated by not speaking up. Your ideas, contributions, and achievements are yours to realize and to highlight. No matter how uncomfortable it may be, take steps to ensure your great work is visible to others, especially your boss. It is not necessary to force conversations or to become an arrogant jerk. Simply take those natural opportunities to talk about the work you are doing and what you are achieved. On your workplace, you are always interviewing. Some of the best jobs come from referrals. Make sure your coworkers are aware of your achievements and talents, and the next time they see a new job opportunity matching your skills, inside or outside your company, your name will pop up. This is particularly important for women. If you are tech-oriented and want to build a career in the field, you will see that highlighting your own competence and technical knowledge becomes a must to avoid getting overlooked. 3, take credit and accept praise. This is very frequent. We have all experienced this scenario. You are wearing a great new outfit and a coworker compliments you. You respond without a second thought. This old thing? Oh, thanks, I got it on sale. Women tend to deflect in situations where we may be elevated because we are natural equalizers. Unfortunately, this can be a huge disadvantage in the workplace. When you respond to a praise or an acknowledgement by deflecting or giving credit to others, you give away your power. For example, your good job on that project. You respond, I had a great team. They really worked hard. You think you are being gracious, but you actually devaluate your role and yourself. And you may have left your boss questioning your contribution to the success of the project. When you receive praise, own it. Simply say thank you, or take the opportunity to elaborate on your accomplishment. You can even acknowledge others, but to do so in a way that doesn't devalue your role. I am very proud of the results I achieved. The whole team did a great job on this project. And this way, you are showing that you are proud of what you did, but also supporting the team and the support they gave you. 4, use powerful language. It is not the way you say it, it's how you say it. Women are often perceived as indecisive, ineffective, or unsure of themselves, simply because of the language we use and the way we speak. The ultimate challenge for women is communicated in a way that enhances our credibility and capability, while being authentic and true to ourselves. Be direct, lead with the bottom line first, then fill in the facts and details, and always have a strong close. The first and last things you say are the most remembered. Don't end what you say with a question like, what do you think? Instead, make a statement. I am interested in your feedback. Use silence to your advantage, especially in a negotiation. State your case, then wait for the other person to respond before you speak. The one who speaks first almost always loses the advantage. And the fifth, establish your boundaries and stick to them. When you are just starting your career on a new job, it is easy to get stuck into the 24/7 chaos that often exists in companies. Endless emails at all hours, working weekends, always changing priority, and countless new projects. Whether it is a biological imperative or a socially ingrained behavior, women have trouble saying no and often don't set boundaries because we don't want to let anyone down. We like to please, and this is mostly a fact. As a result, many of us frequently find ourselves in positions that are unmanageable because we try to be all the things to all people. Bottom line, you can't please everyone all the time. If you have to sell your soul to a job or a company by compromising yourself, your integrity, or your family, it is not worth it. Know your priorities, set your boundaries, make smart choices, and ask for what you want. You will be surprised at how little resistance you get, the amount of respect you gain, and how much happier you can be. And that's it from my side. So I will leave you with my great colleague, La Flaca, Barbara Ketchkes.
Thank you so much, Janela. Hello, everybody. My name is Barbara Ketchkes, and I must say that I'm very impressed by hearing all the women that I work with. I myself am not a data practitioner, but I work with women in data, so I think it makes me a woman of data, as I hope so. And as I introduce myself, I'm having the relationship manager role in dyvenia, and I work very closely with almost all the employees, and I'm doing my best to empower them and to grow not only the employees but also the company itself. I'm very happy that I heard you girls, ladies, talking about already talent, experience, knowledge, and opportunity. Because what I prepared for today actually is an analogy from my coaching background. Just in a nutshell, I'm also switching careers. Actually, I used to switch careers. I have a background in legal studies. I used to be a lawyer. Then I was working with kids as a volunteer, and then I landed a job at finance, where I became a people manager. And 3-4 years ago, I embarked on a journey as a coach and a team coach. And this is where I'm actually presenting to you today an analogy which I really like, and I hope it will help you to navigate your future or existing career, because I think it's also equally important. Maybe you would like to embark on a data journey, or you already have one, but you would need some help or support or tricks and tips how to make the best out of it. What I put down here, those 4 words: talent, experience, knowledge, and opportunity. Actually, in coaching, what we think, and also what I like to think, that those 4 elements are equally present within us. And we like to think about ourselves as balls that are collecting all 4 elements. And if all those 4 elements are in harmony, we are rolling, right? Like a ball, you know? And when I was preparing this presentation, Vicky told me, aha, so it's like a car and 4 wheels. And actually, I think it's also a very nice analogy that we have 4 wheels. And then if all those 4 wheels are pumped, we can really go and chase our dreams and goals. And here I would like to take an opportunity to ask you guys, what do you think when it comes to your career? Which element is the most important for you? I would like to first ask our leaders who were speaking, Valeria, Isa, and Janela. What do you think? Like, which which wheel would be the strongest for you? Like what would be the most important? I'm looking around because I have Isa and Valeria close to me, as you could have seen already.
I will go for talent.
Yeah. Oh, talent.
Talent.
And what talent means to you, Janela?
It means that everything that is in the compound that you are as a person, as an individual. It doesn't matter if you are maybe if you have a lot of knowledge or how many careers you have. If you are talented, this will show up and it will provide everything that that we as a company need. So for me, I am always looking for talent, and I think it's a very strong part of it.
Yeah, because I also think that you as people partner and also someone who is working very closely with candidates, this is the first thing that you've seen, that the talent and the potential in people.
It is, because at the end you could gain a lot of experience and you could gain a lot of things, and I don't want to undermine the other wheels, right? But the first thing we see, and whatever happens, we see talent in people. And then we say, okay, we just could mold this person, but the talent is something else.
Thank you, Janela. Isa, what about you? What do you think? Like, what wheel would be, like stronger in your opinion?
Out of those four, I think all of them are important, as we already talked. But I would go for opportunities still. Not in the passive manner, hoping for opportunities to come to you in a very shaped, nice way, like a cinema ticket. Hey, please come in. But as I actually already said, opportunities tend to be pretty messy and not really structured nicely. It's very important to keep your eyes open and look around and think about the potential that you have in different areas. Sometimes even in your current workplace already. So I think it's opportunities, but from the active perspective.
Thank you, Isa. Valeria, what is your
I would
take?
put my money on gathering experience. And I don't mean experience like, oh, you cannot build a career until you have 10 years of experience, but until you have become experienced on different things. I believe that it builds your talent because you make yourself go out of your comfort zone. If you push yourself to experience in different fields, for example, some companies, if your company offers that, some companies offer rotations in different fields within the company. When that is available, it becomes a very good way to gather experience on a field that you're not very familiar with, and you can discover lots of things thanks to those experiences. And apart from career experiences, of course, life experiences like living abroad. All of us know that this makes you grow. But I think for me, this past experience gave me the best shot when I wanted to improve or grow my career.
Thank you, Valeria. Great. And now I would also like to ask our audience, so Vicky, if we are ready to present the poll. I'm very curious to see, like, what do you think, our lovely audience, like, could you please make an order between those, let's say, wheels? Like, what do you think is the most important and your guiding star, or the least important, or maybe the least developed? If we talk about self-awareness, I'm very, very curious to see. So Vicky, could you please present the poll or activate?
Yeah, we already launched it. I don't know if you can see the results now.
Oh, really?
Okay.
If not, I can tell you what are the results. But
okay, so if you could please share or tell, I would be
yes,
very happy.
Knowledge got the most of the votes. So we have 3 votes for knowledge, 2 votes for talent, 2 votes for opportunities, and 1 vote for experience.
Okay. This is thank you very much for the answers. Also, if someone would like to speak up, please feel free. I think this is already almost the part of the session when I would really like to hear from our audience as well. But before we get to the Q&A section, for me, this is very interesting that I heard, for example, Isa saying, yes, I think I will never be ready. I will never have all the knowledge of the world. I will never have, you know, like 100% covered anything. And I think this is some very, very vulnerable of you, and very wonderful that that you said that. And yeah, like some people are really like pumping that wheel, because, and then, you know, they are learning a lot. They are really want to mastering. They really want to master one skill, or they want to dig deep into one area, and there is also like a certain time when you should do that, especially when you start on a new job. This is what you really would like to embark on, right? Like learning, and getting more and more of the knowledge. Now, about talent / potential is like the skill set, and I know that it's a kind of a controversial topic, because we like to think that talent is that something like a skill in a certain domain that we are born with, and, you know, like this is given to us and we do not have to move a finger. But this is not true, actually, because no one was born and then, you know, like one day being a teacher, and the next day walking on the moon, or getting a Nobel Prize for something that they didn't master. Actually, study says that if you have like certain skill set and ability and tendency to grow faster in certain areas, you still have to practice it for 10 years to say that, yes, you are very talented and you are showing result. When you think about music, for example, when you think about sports, I think those are the areas where it's showing the most, and we are getting, you know, like more visibility on those areas. About those 4 wheels, I would also like to tell about my experience when I work with the clients in coaching, that they say that, yes, you know, like I think I don't have the talent because I don't have the right opportunities, or I don't have the right opportunities because I do not have experience. And I think this is where the magic starts, when the process starts, that we have to be aware all those 4 elements, and with the help of self-awareness and self-reflection, we can examine each of them. And when having career choices, and I do not necessarily mean career switch, because you can even switch career within the same department. You can grow in your role. You can also take on a new path in the same company, even in the same department. I think this is very important to reflect on. Okay, which wheel I have to pump? Like, where do I have almost like 100%, and which are the areas that I still have to invest time and energy in? What is also very important is that always focus on those elements and wheels from a perspective that you are in charge and you are in control. You are in control and in charge of your own potential, as well as you are in charge of your experiences, right? Experience is some kind of an event or reoccurring event that makes an impact in your life. And this is something that you are doing, right? Although I really like the example Valeria shared, that you can also use other people's experience, right? For example, having a mentor, which is wonderful, and then you can also grow from that, as well as knowledge. Very important to be aware of what you already know, so that based on that knowledge, you can allocate your resources and your focus between the other 3 elements. And opportunities are kind of a set of circumstances that make something possible, and also we can be in charge of those opportunities. And Vicky, could you please go to the next slide? Thank you very much. And before you ask me, okay, this is very wonderful, but how do I activate them? And like what to do with all this talking and storytelling. As I said, focus on what you have in your power. About knowledge, we all know that knowledge always have to be maintained, especially when we talk about data and when we talk about technical jobs, right? IT jobs. You always have to be up to date. There is always something to learn. And I really encourage you to start the practice of asking yourself every day, at the end of the day, what it is that I learned today. I really believe that no day is passing without taking on some new knowledge. It might not be a fact or learning a new library of code, but maybe this is something about yourself, something about human interactions, something that you lack. I think this is also a very important learning of, okay, what it is that I lack, so this element is not activated, and therefore I cannot move forward. The next one is experience. I really think that it goes hand in hand with the knowledge part, and I do believe that self-awareness and self-reflection here comes to play much more than in the knowledge part, because this is when we have to ask ourselves how a particular experience enriches our professional life, right? To reflect, okay, what happened and how does it make me a better professional or a better person? About opportunities, as I said, I really liked that my colleagues pointed out that it's not always, like passively receiving those opportunities, but be the firecracker and say, okay, there is no opportunity that I can see, but why don't I create opportunities for myself? This is, like it comes with the initiative spirit. And then we also have to think, okay, what do I would like to achieve and how can I enrich my life and my professional career by creating the opportunities for myself? And last but not least, the talent or our own potential. Very, very important to acknowledge who we are, what skills do we have, what are the things that are coming easy to us, and what are the things that we like to do. Because I really do believe that if we do what we like, we will thrive much faster. And as Isa said, work will be fun and fulfilling. And I really hope you also found our session fulfilling and fun. And with that said, I would like to open the Q&A section. And we really hope to receive some questions. I can already see that Keaton raised the hand. So Keaton, please unmute yourself and we are ready for your question. Okay, so maybe it was a mistake.
There was a hand from Ira before, Kowalczyk.
Yeah, it was a little bit before. But actually, I have a question for our technical leaders, I would put it that way. What would you rate as top 3 tricks and tips to achieve the most from what you get at your current work in general?
From who would you like to answer the question, Ira?
You, Valeria, or Isa?
Okay, so tips and tricks to use your current skills, you said?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I can maybe put one tip that comes to mind. So one of the tricks that I found interesting was, I think a lot of you are familiar, at least in data, was performing sharing sessions. When it comes to code reviews, I think Martin is here. Early on in my career, I used to go for my colleague Martin for guidance, and simply by doing a sharing session and explaining to him what I was trying to do or what I was doing, sometimes just by voicing it out loud, I was realizing things that I could be doing differently. And then also his advice was very helpful. So I think that one tip could be, don't underestimate the impact of saying things out loud, and just having someone listen to you. It really helped me a lot, especially when I had self-doubt from being new at the field.
Yeah, it's like having this duck that you can talk to. That
Yeah.
you not necessarily expect that they will answer, but sometimes you just need a person or a thing
Yeah.
to talk to and shape your thoughts in a different way.
Yeah, sometimes the person might only ask you 2 or 3 questions, not even tell you anything, and you already learned something.
What I'm also thinking about is try sometimes to share your solution or your idea with somebody who's not working with you in the project. And sometimes when I'm working on the visual side, some presentations for our business partners, I'm so shaped in a way. I work on the same presentation for days or hours, and I just sharing it with another person, sometimes with a different team. Victoria, for example, who is my presentation master and huge support whenever I need it. Just sharing it with a person that brings new perspective to the table. So just not being afraid of asking for help and support from others, and that gives you this different perspective that you sometimes need. Don't be set in your own ways of thinking.
Thank you for the
Thanks,
question,
ladies.
Ira. I do believe that we have time for more questions. Michelle, please.
Yes, we talked or you talked a lot about all the things that you should do in your career, but I think it's equally important to consider a few things that you shouldn't, or maybe something that you experienced in your careers where you felt like, you know, I've in retrospect, I really learned something from a mistake I made before. Maybe you have something to share on that.
I could give you a couple of tips if you want, if Barbara allows me.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead, Nana.
I will definitely go for don't own things that are not yours. You could see very often that people tend to take acknowledgement for things that they don't do. So I think it's very, very important. Yes, own your own things, but leave the things that belongs to others to them. It's not good and it's unethical. And I think we see this more often than we want. So own your own things, but leave the others to be the owner of their own things. So achieve their things, celebrate their goals, celebrate their own triumphs, but leave them with that. And I think that could be something really important to deal with. And from my side, I think that's kind of cool.
Thank you.
If I can add one thing, and I keep telling this, but I wish I take my own advice, that to take time to enjoy the fruit of your work. It means that that when you are growing and developing, then I really believe that there should be a pause when you are taking on experience. So like then when the knowledge and the talent and the opportunity was already there and given, then like enjoy the experience phase, because this is how you are building up for like more talent, more knowledge, and more opportunity. So I wish I take and like I pump that wheel more.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Yes, Arpit, Andrew, Noel.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I'm Arpit. I'm joining from India. I just wanted to let you know that. So I have a good question for Valeria here. So I'm in my earliest stage of my career. So wanted to know how would it be possible for me to shift my function? So actually right now I'm in marketing function. So I'd like to shift to something related to analysis and consultancy. So in my early stage, how should I go about it? How should my resume look like? How should I face the interview? And how can I approach to companies where I could offer more on to consultancy and analysis?
Thank you so much for the question, Arpit, and thank you for joining us on the event. So one thing that I really like, I am also hiring manager for analysts in dyvenia, and something that I value a lot when analysts are interviewing, if they are switching careers, I like when they show me something they have built, an analysis that they have built, basically using the domain knowledge that they have from their previous job. So somebody might be coming from finance, somebody might be coming from marketing. What data do you have familiarity with? What is your current area of knowledge? So let's say your knowledge is marketing. Maybe you could extract a public data set with marketing data or even dummy data from marketing campaigns performance. And you could create your own analytics and some modeling for some marketing KPIs. And I love when I'm on an interview and somebody just shares, look, I was doing this and I learned how to do SQL thanks to trying to do this practical thing, or I learned how to use a data visualization tool or a BI tool like Power BI, Tableau, or Python libraries for visualization. You don't need to show something from your previous work. There's a lot of things you can do on your personal GitHub profile, that what Janela mentioned about your digital footprint. It's also, for us, the first thing we check. We really like to see what kind of projects you are doing, and not something from a bootcamp that you basically took from a bootcamp, something that you did because you are curious. It says a lot about your talent. It says that you are curious, that you are driven. So I would go with something like that, something that sparks from your current knowledge, and maybe the company is looking for someone with understanding of marketing, and they will be interested in somebody with this previous experience.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Arpit.
I think we have time for like 2 more questions. And we are waiting for your questions.
We are very talkative, right?
Yes, we are.
We are.
Okay.
But
so
I think
maybe
if
it's good for today.
I think maybe we said it all. So Vicky, will you please do the honors of closing the events?
Yeah, sure. First, I would like to thank you girls for sharing your valuable insights and preparing this presentation for us. And thank you all for joining us. And to all our attendees, I just wanted to let you know that we're going to share the materials with you along with the recording. So just make sure to check out our LinkedIn profile, sign up for a newsletter, and yeah, that's it from me. So So thank you guys so much for joining.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.